Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create a login screen. We're going to design it using Scene Builder, then code and build an IntelliJ as JavaFX application. We're going to connect and validate the user against a database table in MySQL. Well, in summary, it's a simple login screen with database connection. Alright, let's start with IntelliJ. I'm using Community Edition 2021.1. New project. Here we pick JavaFX application, then we check project SDK, making sure we're using the correct versions. Next, name the project. I'll name it Bluetooth Planet 9. Finish. Let's check our project folder. I got two classes in a file. We have main.java, our main program, so to speak, and we have a lot of threads. Ignore them for now, and we will address that in a short while. Here you see sample.fxml, which refer to this fxml file. It deals in handle our user interface. Then our fx controller attribute assigned with a controller class, we choose. Controller class handle the user interface initialization, events, and more. This is where the bulk of our code will reside. Let's run this and see. Here in build and run, just assign the JDK version you are using, apply, run, and we got our first error. Package JavaFX.application does not exist. This is because we have not added the JavaFX SDK jars yet. Normally, you set it up or configure the project before you do anything. But this is tutorial. I want to show the errors and share how to handle them. Now, to fix this, go to File, Project Structure. You see here the project information and the versions we are using. Go to Modules. We can add them here. This is under Dependencies. Click Add, Jars or Directories. Just locate where you save your JavaFX SDKs. In case if you have not downloaded it yet, see description below for more details. Okay, now, then just select the following jars: Base, Controls, FXML, and Graphics. Open. Now they are added. Click Apply and see read ones at the back. They are now valid. Click OK. If we check the fxml, it should be valid now too. Good. Let's run again. And we have a new error. JavaFX runtime components are missing. This is because we have not added module info.java and specify what modules we require and package to open. Let's do that. In sample, right click, new, module info.java. And here we specify what modules we require. Controls, javafx.fxml, and last, javafx.graphics. This is all we need for now. Then opens. This will allow access to our package sample. Here, sample. If you notice, these are the ones we have added in our project structure a while ago. The JavaFX SDKs. Remember these jars? Later, we will add another for our database connection. But these are all we need for now. Okay, let's run again. There you go, it runs successfully. Now let's close this app and proceed to the next step. We're now going to design and build our login screen. To start, we will utilize what we already have. Let's rename the sample.fxml. Just right click, refactor, rename. Rename it to login.fxml. And refactor. Okay, we got it renamed successfully. And make sure that it reflects in the main.java as well. There you go. A quick run just to make sure all is well. Perfect. Close it and we launch Scene Builder. We're going to use this to design and build the user interface of our login screen. This is a visual layout tool that will allow us to quickly design user interfaces. In case you have not it installed yet, see description for download and install details. Alright. From here, click Open Project. Then we're going to open the login.fxml from our project folder. So basically, whatever we do here generates code directly to login.fxml once we save our work. A quick rundown for new users. This is our object library, which are grouped accordingly. Below here is the hierarchy, which lists out the objects we use along their layout orders, while on this side, we got our properties, layout, and code related settings. Okay, now let's work on our user interface. We start with deleting this grid pane. Replace it with border pane. Just double click to add. See that below? It shows sections as well. Now go to layout. Change the width to 520. Next, we need anchor pane. Just drag it down to border pane, insert left. Then another for insert right. There you go. Need to adjust the width and height of left anchor pane to 28 by 407. Then adjust the right side 332 by 400. We're going to utilize JavaFX CSS. Click the style, FX background color, set the color. You can put common colors like red, blue, white, and couple more. But for now, we will use a hex code. Just type #263F73. There you go. Next, we put a label. You can just type it here in the library. It will show up as search result. Drag it over. Feel free to design and adjust objects around. Stretch this label end to end. Set alignment at center. Change our font style and size. Name it as Bluetooth. Set color to white. Set effect as drop shadow. And duplicate this label. Command key plus D. Rename as Planet 9. Adjust font style and size to your preference. Next, we utilize line object. Feel free to adjust and align it as well to your liking. Change color to white. Set effect as drop shadow. Set stroke width to 2. Then we utilize circle object. Feel free to resize and adjust it to your preferences. Change the color to light gray. Effects as inner shadow. Stroke color shades of gray. Good. Then add another circle. Rearrange the object order. There you go. Set the fill as transparent. Adjust the stroke color, play around it, and look for color you want. This is just a static orbit, so feel free to adjust accordingly. We need another label. We can just duplicate this one. Adjust the font style and size. Make it smaller. And put copyright 2021, all right reserved. This is just static. Now it looks better. Duplicates another label. Put it here. Set text as secure login. Change effect as inner shadow. And adjust the font size. Then change color. Good. We need another label. Call it username. And we need to increase the font size. Make it 14. Duplicate this label. Just position it and align it with username. Set text as password. Now we're getting close. Before we proceed, change the themes to Mobile Lite. Go to Preview, Themes, Mobile Lite. Good. Then search for text field. Drag it over and align it to username. Then look for password field. Drag it over as well and align to password. Alright. Again, adjust size and position to your preference. By the way, password field is just a plain text. It just masks the display so the password does not show. Next, we look for button. Drag it over, position it below, and adjust the size. You can name it as login. Then change the color to white. We'll just copy the anchor pane color and paste it over. Background color. And then paste it here. There you go. Let's duplicate this button. Name it as cancel. Need some adjustment here. Let's preview it how it looks. Go to preview, show preview in window. There you go. Let's test the text field and password field. As you can see, password field masks the entry by default. That's good. Close this. One last adjustment, need to keep more space in between. That's about right. Adjust the buttons as well. Good. Then center them all. Alright, save your work. Set the prompt text as username. Then next prompt text as password. Let's preview it. You can see the prompt text are set. Close this. Save it again. Now we're going to assign FX IDs. It will be utilized in our controller later. Go to code. I have established my own naming conventions. You may use yours. For example, I name this as username text field. I include object type for easy and readable code purposes. It seems long, but it will be helpful in the long run. Next, here our FX ID will be password field. Next will be the buttons. We follow the same convention, name it as login button. Same thing with cancel button. There you go. Just a quick review. Making sure we get FX IDs. Now we go and assign a controller. And as you can see, these objects with FX IDs are listed in a component. Then we need to assign a controller. That will be sample.controller. If you recall, we already have a controller class named controller. Under sample package, we're just assigning it. Let's save it so the fxml will be updated. Now let's go back to IntelliJ and see the actual fxml file. Okay, now let's check login.fxml. It have more lines now as we have added a lot. If you check here, we get the fx controller assigned, sample.controller, which we apply back here. And this is our actual controller class, which we are going to utilize next to work on these objects. Alright, now we start coding. Our first step is in main.java. We need to change the window or the stage size. It should match what we have set in the scene builder or what is in the fxml. Select the border pane, go to layout, copy the width and height, then change the value here, which is 520 by 400. Let's run it and see. There you go. All looks good. We're going to change the color later. Right now, this is just a screen with objects but no action or events. Next, we're going to remove this title bar and then add action event for the cancel button to close the login window. So we have a way to exit. Go to controller. We're going to use cancel button in our fxml, so we need to annotate at fxml. If you notice, IntelliJ automatically add an import here, but you can type it too. Then private button, cancel button. Button is on red because we have not imported the button class yet. You can click import class here, but if you are new or a beginner, I really do suggest to type it down so you become familiar. Alright. Okay, it is now added. Again, this is cancel button. It's the FX ID of the cancel button in our fxml. This one here in scene builder. This one if viewed as fxml. Now, we will create an action event method and call it cancel button on action. Stage. Again, you need to import the stage class. I always recommend to manually type it out until you become so familiar. We will determine which stage the cancel button is. Then assign it to stage variable. And stage.close. This should do it. Next, we will assign this action event method in scene builder. Select cancel button. Then here in action, assign cancel button on action method. There you go. So when cancel button is clicked on action event, it will run this method. This one. Save it. If you check the login.fxml, you will see the method in action. There you go. Okay, now we can run and test it out. Good. Click cancel to close. Good, it works as expected. Since we have a way to close within our login screen, we can now remove the title bar. Close this and proceed to main.java. It is just a one-liner. You just need to set stage style to undecorated. We just comment out or remove this line. It is not needed anymore. Let's run and check. There you go. Let's see if with different background. Alright, this is how it looks when it runs as an app. Okay, let's segue here quickly. As mentioned earlier, I will change the color. To do that, we just need to change the left anchor pane and 2 buttons. Just copy the color. Looks good. Save it. And now preview. Alright, close it up. Before we go back to IntelliJ, we will add a new label. This will serve a sort of notification or warning depending on scenario. Preview it. Looks good. Now we need to make it a blank text by default. A message will only appear depending on the scenario. Assign an FX ID so we can use it. Ignore that warning. Save it. Check the component list. There it is. Now back to IntelliJ. Here we are going to annotate and declare the login message label as well. Import the label class. Good. Now we will create another action event method for login button. Let's test first the login message label. Make sure it is working along with the login button action event. Login message label. That's set text. Let's say you try to log in. Now we go back to scene builder and assign the new method to login button. There. Save it. Switch back to IntelliJ and run it. Click login button. There you go. We got it. I guess by now you notice I keep running every now and then. It's because it helps you narrow the area and scope of possible errors. Let me adjust login message a little bit. Save it. Run. Good. Now we're going to add a simple user input validation where we make sure that username and password are not blank. We need to import first a text field and a password field class. JavaFX password field. They are in gray. It means they were not in use anywhere yet. Then here we annotate and declare our username text field and password field. We're going to put in place a simple user input validation using if condition, where we ensure username and password are not blank. So this will be username text field, get text, that is blank, equals false. And password field that get text, that is blank, equals false. Then if it is true, then we put something here. Let's move login message label here. Alright. Then we copy here another login message label and say, please enter username and password. Let's do a test run. We will click the login button without any inputs. Okay, we got our message in red. Now let's try to put something and try to log in. And there you are. We got a new message. Close this. We're now going to MySQL to create our table and insert sample data that we can use for our login. Select the database you want. Make it your default. Then create a new table. We just need here a primary key, first name, last name, username, and password field. You may use your own naming conventions and field names. Set constraints on them like not null or NN if you want. Especially for username, set it unique, as you don't want duplicate here. There should be only one username per account. Click apply. Alright, review it, then click apply. And close. Let's check our table. It was created successfully. It has the field names we need. Create a query so we can check the table. Select asterisk from user accounts. Okay, then execute this. As you can see, we don't have any data yet. We just need 2 records for now. Now, let's insert data that we can use for testing. Just change this to any appropriate test data you want. You can copy this insert statement. And you can change the data if you want. Then execute this insert. There you go. 1 row inserted. We need 1 more. Just copy and change the data. Then execute this insert. Alright, now we have 2 records in our user accounts table. This is good to go. Let's go to the next step. We're going to create a new class. Here in sample package, right click, new, Java class, name it database connection.java. We will use this to establish a JDBC connection. First, let's import java.sql. And it's on error because we need to add this in our module info.java before we can import. And if you recall, when we initially created our module info.java, I mentioned that we were going to add another. And this is part of it. So we go to module info.java and we require java.sql. Then we can go back to database connection.java and we import java.sql.connection. Alright, import java.sql.driver manager. We need that. In here, we create a public connection variable. We're going to use this later as our return value. Create a new method. Let's call it getConnection. There are a couple of ways to code your connection. You have a couple of options when it comes to connection. Let's start with the database name. String database name. Let's make it empty for now. For this tutorial, I will use the most basic. You can make and follow your own standard and conventions. I always prefer to have simple and readable code. Next, database user, and put it as blank as well. This is the one you use as your database login when you log into your MySQL. Then of course, database password, and make it blank as well. empty, we are going to fill them in later. Next is the URL string. It will hold the address that points to our database we specify. You can just follow this. String URL equals JDBC MySQL localhost plus database name. We need to put a try and catch here. I prefer to complete the syntax to avoid missing braces. a.print stack trace. Okay, that's all we need for now. Then class.forName. We will need this to register and load the driver class to memory. And com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Next, establish our connection. Database link equals driver manager dot get connection. We will get our values from here, and we will pass these variables as arguments: URL, database user, and database password. There are a couple ways to establish a connection. However, I prefer something readable. Now we will return database link, that is our return value. Again, you need to put an actual values here before you run. Don't forget that. And this is what you use to log into MySQL and database where your user table is present. For example, in my case, the database name is POC base. And we will just fill it up with username and password. Let's go to controller. And we're going to expand this code. If a user input passed this validation, then we will connect to the database and validate the username and password. However, instead of having all the codes here, we will create a new method instead. That way, it will help our code to be in manageable level. It is not a hard rule per se. It is just a personal best practices I do. You are free to do what you prefer. Because when you have your own personal standard, it will be easier to navigate to all your codes, whether it's present, older, or from previous years. So long you follow the same practice, it will be easier for you. Alright, now create a new method, public void. And this is a new method, call it validate login. Copy this over here. And this will call the method. Let's comment this out. We don't need this here. First, we will create a new instance of our database connection. Database connection, call it connect now. Equals new database connection. And connection. We need to import connection class too. Import java.sql connection. And here connect dv. Connect now. Get connection. This is simply the new instance of our database connection class. Connect now is using the only method we created for it. If you recall, we created this one, get connection. Then we build our SQL query to fetch the data. Then here, say string verify login. My suggestion is build a query in MySQL Workbench. That way you can test it as well. It will reduce possible error vectors in your code. And this is a very simple query. It's a select count 1 from user accounts where username equals Neo and password equals Kung Fu. Run it. There you go. You got 0. It means no matching result. This is because Neo is a first name and not a username. See this? Matrix is the actual username for this record. Change it. Run it again. There you go. You get 1. It means a matching record has been found. Just copy this and paste it over here. Then we just need to tweak this a little bit. we will replace the hard-coded value by username text field and password field. Ensure that we preserve the single quotes. We need that on our concatenation. Then plus for string concatenation. And here. And now replace this with what we have. So this way, whatever user input in the username and password, when we run this login screen, will be passed over to our SQL query. And this password field to here. And don't forget the semicolon. Next, we need to implement try and catch here. Statement. Alright, we need to import it as well. See that here? Statement equals connect dv that create statement. Here we are using the connection we declare. Then we need result set that will handle the query result. Need to import it first also. Import class, there you go. Query result equals statement that execute query. And we need that verify login. It just simply execute a query like what we did here. Now we just need to process the query result using while statement. Query result that next, we just loop around the query result. Though for this case, we only expect one return row. Now, we just need to simply check if we got 1 or 0. Query result that get int and column index 1. What we're doing is we just want to get the actual value of the first field. If so happen that we only have one field, but if you have more, you can specify what field you want based on their numeric order. Based on our constraint, we're saying that there should be only one unique username. The actual value is the query result here. And in our case, it is just between 1 and 0. Either there's a matching record or none. And if the result is 1, then we will say login message label that set text welcome. But if it does not match, if it is 0, then you say login message label that set text invalid login. Please try again. And here, just put e.print stack trace. Again, make sure that you put the database credentials before you run. And also, as I mentioned, we have one more SDK to add. But I want to run this and show you another common error we get. Run it. Alright. Now, let's put a user name and a password. And log in. There goes the error. If you scroll up, you will see the actual error here. It says we have an error in our create statement because our connect DB is null. It's just simply telling us that it was not able to create a valid connection to the database, hence a null. There are many possible reasons why, but in our case, we simply did not add MySQL Connector SDK yet. So we know that is the cause. Go to File, Project Structure, Modules, and then add MySQL Connector jar. It should be in the folder where you download it. See description on how to download if you have not done it yet. Okay, let's run again. Alright, let's start with the negative test. Let's try an invalid login first. Ayo. And this one, login. There you go. we got an invalid login message. It means that we don't have any matching record. We don't have any user called Neo. Now let's try to log in with valid account. Login? Perfect. We successfully log in. So there you have it. A login screen that connects to MySQL database to validate a user account. Again, this is just a basic tutorial. There are other ways to do this. In your future project, I recommend you set up your project first, you design, then code, and test. Thank you for watching and hope you learned something.